Whispers in the dust. Tessa Holt adjusted her respirator as the winds of Helio 7 whipped sand against her weathered jacket. The twin suns blazed overhead, casting harsh shadows across the barren landscape. 6 years as a salvager had taught her to spot anomalies in the wasteland, the glint that didn't belong. The shadow too perfect to be natural today. That instinct led her to what appeared to be a half-buried escape pod, its metallic surface scorched by atmospheric entry. Military grade, if she wasn't mistaken. Valuable tech inside, perhaps. When she pried open the hatch, she expected circuitry, not eyes. Deep violet eyes set in a face the color of pale amethyst. The alien woman was curled in the corner, restraints binding her wrists and ankles. Her silver-white hair clung to her skin in sweat-soaked strands. "Stars above," Tessa whispered, lowering her weapon. The alien shrank back, eyes wide with terror. "Easy now. I won't hurt you." The creature's skin was marked with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed weakly. She appeared humanoid but smaller, more delicate, with elongated fingers and pointed ears. Her breaths came in shallow gasps. Tessa hesitated. Interspecies contact was strictly regulated. Harboring non-registered aliens carried a death sentence in this sector. But leaving her here, that was something Tessa couldn't do. "I'm going to help you," she said softly, reaching for her canteen. "Water? Understand?" She demonstrated by taking a sip, then offering it. The alien stared, unmoving. Then, with trembling hands, she reached for the canteen. Water spilled down her chin as she drank desperately. Using her vibroblade, Tessa cut through the restraints. "Got a name?" she asked, not expecting an answer. "Navara," the alien whispered, her voice musical and strained. Tessa's eyes widened. "You speak standard?" "Little, learn, ... watching." Navara gestured weakly to her head. Telepathic language acquisition. Rare but not unheard of among certain species. Tessa nodded slowly. "I'm Tessa Holt." She helped Navara stand, supporting her fragile weight. The alien's skin felt cool against hers, like touching water. "Who did this to you?" Tessa asked. Navara shook her head, fear flashing in her eyes. "Not safe. They come. Well, they'll have to get through me first," Tessa replied, surprising herself with her conviction. "My outpost is nearby. Can you walk?" Together they made slow progress across the dunes, the twin suns beginning their descent. Navara stumbled often, leaning heavily against Tessa's shoulder. Each touch sent an unfamiliar warmth through Tessa's chests, something beyond the heat of exertion. By sunset, they reached the outpost, a repurposed shipping container, reinforced with salvaged metal. Not much, but it kept the sand and predators out. Inside, Tessa eased Navara onto her cot. "Rest now. You're safe." Navara's fingers wrapped around Tessa's wrist, surprisingly strong. Why help? Tessa considered the question. 6 years alone in the dust had hardened her, made her cautious. Yet something about this alien woman had pierced that armor instantly. "Because nobody deserves to be left to die in chains," she answered simply. "Now sleep. Tomorrow, we figure out what's next." As Navara's eyes drifted shut, her bioluminescent markings pulsed once, brightening the dim room momentarily. Tessa watched, transfixed by their gentle glow, wondering what storm she had just invited into her carefully isolated life. Trust in small. Steps dawn broke with a crimson glow that filtered through the outpost's single reinforced window. Tessa awoke instantly, her hand reaching for her blaster before remembering. She wasn't alone anymore. Navara sat cross-legged on the floor, her silver-white hair now clean and braided, wearing Tessa's spare clothes too large for her slender frame. Her violet eyes studied Tessa with open curiosity. "You talk in sleep," Navara said. Her standard improved overnight. Tessa sat up, uncomfortable with the observation. "How are you feeling?" "Better." Navara touched her throat. "Your language. Coming clearer now." "It's quite a talent," Tessa remarked, moving to the small cooking unit. She prepared a simple breakfast of rehydrated protein and native fruit. "Hungry?" Navara approached cautiously, watching Tessa's every movement. When offered food, she smelled it first, then took a tiny bite. Her eyes widened with pleasure. "This good?" she said, taking another bite. On my world, food is ... bland. Where is your world? Tessa asked. Navarra's expression darkened. Far beyond Rim. Called Lysithea. How did you end up here? In that pod? Navarra set down her bowl, her luminescent markings dimming. I was ... researcher. Found something important. Government people came, took me. She touched her wrist where the restraints had left marks. Said I knew too much. About what? Not yet, Navarra whispered. Not safe for you. They finished breakfast in silence. Afterward, Tessa showed Navarra how the water recycler worked, taught her the emergency protocols for the outpost. Simple tasks that created a rhythm, a shared routine. By midday, Tessa needed to check her perimeter sensors. I won't be long, she promised. Stay inside. She returned an hour later. She found Navarra examining her collection of salvaged items tech components, abandoned personal effects, fragments of ships and stations. You collect broken things, Navarra observed. I fix them, Tessa corrected. Everything has value if you know how to look. Navarra lifted a small music box, one of Tessa's few personal treasures. This makes sound? Tessa took it gently, winding the mechanism. A simple melody filled the outpost. Hauntingly beautiful in its imperfection, Navarra's markings pulsed in rhythm with the music. On Lysithea, we make music with our bodies. She demonstrated, her markings glowing in complex patterns as she hummed a crystalline note. Entranced, Tessa moved closer. That's beautiful. Their eyes met, and something shifted between them, a bridge forming across vast differences. That night, they shared the cot, back to back, the small space allowing nothing else. In the darkness, Navarra's markings cast a soft blue glow. Tessa, she whispered. Yes. Thank you for cutting chains. Tessa swallowed hard, unexpectedly moved. You're welcome. My people believe, Navarra continued hesitantly. When someone saves life, souls become connected. Tessa felt warmth spreading from where their backs touched. What does that mean? Mean I see you. Real you. Navarra's hand found Tessa's in the darkness. And you begin to see real me. Their fingers intertwined, different yet fitting perfectly together. Tessa didn't pull away, surprising herself. Touch had been absent from her life so long that she'd forgotten its power. Get some sleep, she murmured, but squeezed Navarra's hand gently before letting go. Hunters on the horizon, the warning came at dawn. 3 rapid beeps from Tessa's perimeter sensors. She was on her feet instantly, checking the monitors. A military transport, half a click out and closing. Navarra, wake up. We have company. The alien woman was already alert, her markings pulsing rapidly with anxiety. They found me. How? Tessa demanded, grabbing her go bag and weapons. Tracker Navarra touched the base of her skull. Under skin, thought inactive after crash. Tessa swore, checking her ammunition. We've got 10 minutes, maybe less. Grab only essentials. They moved with urgent efficiency. Tessa downloading crucial data, while Navarra packed water and rations. When Navarra reached for Tessa's old music box, Tessa hesitated, then nodded. Take it, she said. Now, listen carefully. There's a network of caves 3 clicks east. We'll take the tunnels beneath the outpost, emerge half a click away. Their scanners won't detect us underground. The hatch in the floor revealed a narrow passage, remnants of mining operations long abandoned. Tessa went first, Navarra closed behind. Who exactly is hunting you? Tessa asked as they crawled through the cramped tunnel. Military intelligence. From Coalition, Navarra answered, voice tight. I discovered Plan's weapon using star energy. Planet killer. Tessa paused, looking back. You're saying the Coalition is developing a super weapon? Yes, my research helped unintentionally. When I learned truth, tried to expose them. Navarra's markings dimmed. They said traitor. Said would use me to finish project. Above them, muffled sounds of the outpost being breached. Heavy boots, voices shouting commands. Tessa urged Navarra forward until they reached the exit point. Hatch concealed by native vegetation, the desert stretched before them, sand dunes rippling under the morning wind. They ran in a crouch, using the terrain for cover. There, Tessa pointed to a ridgeline. The caves start just beyond. Halfway there, Navarra stumbled, gasping in pain. Her hand flew to the back of her neck where a spot of blood stained her collar. Tracker activating, she hissed, "Burning." Tessa made a split-second decision, drawing her vibroblade. "This will hurt," Navarra nodded, turning to expose her neck. "Do it." With surgical precision, Tessa cut a small incision, extracting a rice-sized metal device. Blood silvery blue trickled down Navarra's neck. Hold still, Tessa pressed a med patch over the wound, then crushed the tracker under her boot. "They'll still find us," Navarra said. "But buys time," he continued, toward the caves, the sound of pursuit growing behind them. At the entrance, Tessa hesitated, turning back to see the military transport cresting a dune. A moment of decision crystallized between them. "I barely know you," Tessa said, "but I'm risking everything." "Why?" Navarra's fingers brushed Tessa's cheek. "Because you see injustice and cannot walk away, is who you are." The touch lingered, electric and gentle. Tessa caught Navarra's hand, holding it against her face a moment longer than necessary. "Let's go," she said finally. "I know these caves better than they know their own ships." As they disappeared into the darkness, Navarra's markings began to glow, illuminating their path. Tessa found herself watching the alien woman with new eyes, seeing not just someone to protect, but someone whose courage matched her own. Someone worth knowing, worth fighting for. The caves welcomed them, ancient and indifferent to the human conflicts that raged above. And in their depths, two women from different worlds moved closer together, bound by shared danger in something deeper neither could yet name. Shelter in the storm. Deeper caverns opened into a breathtaking underground chamber, crystalline formations, casting rainbow refractions from Navarra's bioluminescence. An underground spring bubbled in one corner, the water impossibly clear. "We'll rest here," Tessa decided, setting down their packs. "The mineral deposits interfere with scanners. We're invisible." "Beautiful," Navarra whispered, touching a crystal formation. It resonated like glass struck by rain. She smiled, the first genuine smile Tessa had seen, and the sight caused an unexpected flutter in Tessa's chest. They created a small camp. Tessa treated Navarra's neck wound properly. Her fingers lingered on the alien's skin, noticing how the luminescent patterns seemed to pulse stronger at her touch. "Your markings?" Tessa asked. "They respond to emotion?" Navarra nodded. "They show what is inside. Cannot hide feelings among my people." "That must be difficult," honest Navarra corrected. "No lies between us." As they shared a meal, the distant rumble of a dust storm began above. Tessa explained they might be trapped for days. The storms on Helio 7 were legendary for their ferocity. "Not trapped," Navarra said. "Safe." Later, as they sat side by side watching the spring's gentle movement, Navarra asked, "Why you live alone in desert?" Tessa was silent for a long moment. "I was military once. Saw things, did things I couldn't reconcile. When they ordered us to eliminate a settlement of refugees, ... She shook her head. "I refused. Deserted. Been hiding ever since." Navarra's hand found Tessa's. "You have honor." "I have regrets," Tessa countered. "But saving you isn't one of them." Their eyes met in the ethereal blue glow of Navarra's markings. Something unspoken passed between them. Recognition. Understanding. Desire. "On Lysithia," Navarra said softly, "we believe souls recognize each other across universe." She raised her hand, tracing the outline of Tessa's face without touching. Her markings pulsed brighter, casting Tessa's features in sapphire light. "May I?" Navarra asked. Tessa nodded, barely breathing as Navarra's cool fingers finally made contact with her skin, tracing from temple to jaw. Where she touched, a tingling warmth followed. "We are not so different," Navarra whispered. "Both running. Both alone. Until now." Tessa caught Navarra's wrist gently, turning her palm to place a kiss there. "Until now," she agreed. Their lips met tentatively at first, Then with growing certainty, Navarra's markings blazed bright enough to illuminate the entire chamber, reflecting off crystal walls in a symphony of light. Tessa pulled her closer, feeling the alien's heart beat faster than human rhythm, but somehow perfectly in sync with her own. They sank onto their makeshift bed, exploration becoming reverence. Every touch revealed new wonders: how Navarra's markings followed Tessa's caresses, how their bodies fit together despite their differences. When they finally lay entwined, breathless and transformed, the storm above raged unnoticed. "I never expected you," Tessa admitted, tracing the glowing patterns on Navarra's shoulder. "Yet you found me," Navarra replied, nestling closer. "In all vast space, you found me." They drifted towards sleep. The music box played softly beside them, its melody mingling with the storm's distant thunder, discordant yet harmonious, like their unlikely union. Breaking chains, the storm passed after 3 days, leaving the desert-transformed dunes, shifted, landmarks buried and uncovered. When they emerged from the caves, even Tessa struggled to recognize the landscape. "We need to reach the spaceport in Meridian," she decided. "I have contacts who can get you off-world." Navarra's fingers tightened around Tessa's. "And you?" The question hung between them, heavy with implication. Tessa had lived as a ghost for years, bound to this planet by fear and guilt. Now, suddenly the possibility of something else beckoned. "I don't know," she admitted. They traveled by night, when the sands cooled and the military patrols were fewer. During daylight, they sheltered in shadow, bodies pressed close, sharing whispered plans and tender touches. On the third night, disaster struck. A patrol drone spotted them crossing an exposed plateau. Within minutes, the horizon filled with lights vehicles converging on their position. "Run," Tessa urged, but Navarra pulled her back. "No more running," she said firmly. Her markings pulsed with determination. "I have plan." From her pocket, she produced a small crystal one she'd taken from the cave. It glowed with inner fire, pulsing in time with her markings. "Resonance crystal," she explained quickly. "On my world, we use to amplify thought. With this, I can project false images, confuse sensors." "You never mentioned this ability," Tessa said. "Needed trust first," Navarra replied simply. "Need your help now." Together, they prepared Navarra, instructing Tessa how to position smaller crystals in a perimeter around them. When the military vehicles arrived, Navarra stood tall, the main crystal held between her palms. Her markings blazed brighter than Tessa had ever seen, patterns shifting rapidly. The air shimmered. Suddenly, sensor readings showed dozens of heat signatures scattered across the plateau. The patrol divided, chasing phantoms. Now Navarra gasped, the effort clearly straining her. To their transport, he sprinted toward the abandoned vehicle. Tessa hotwired it, while Navarra maintained her projection. As they sped away, Navarra collapsed against Tessa, exhausted but triumphant. The spaceport appeared on the horizon by dawn, sprawling complex of landing pads and weathered buildings. Tessa led them through service tunnels to a secluded hangar where a small, nondescript freighter waited. "Captain Decker," Tessa greeted the grizzled woman checking cargo manifests. "I need that favor you owe me." Within hours, they had passage secured, 2 berths on a ship bound for the outer colonies. Standing at the boarding ramp, Tessa hesitated. "If I leave," she said quietly, "I can never come back." Navarra's hand slipped into hers. "Your chains were never in this place. They were here." She touched Tessa's heart. "As were mine." A commotion at the spaceport entrance, military personnel checking identification. Time was running out. "The knowledge I carry," Navarra said urgently, "could save millions of lives. Help me deliver it to people who will use it wisely." Tessa looked back at the desert that had been her prison and refuge. Then at Navarra, whose arrival had shattered her isolation and offered unexpected redemption. Together? Then, Tessa decided, stepping onto the ramp. As the ship rose through Helio 7's atmosphere, they watched the desert shrink below them. Navarra's markings pulsed softly against Tessa's skin, their glow visible even in the daylight cabin. "What happens now?" Tessa asked. Navarra smiled, the expression transforming her alien features into something Tessa now found achingly beautiful and familiar. "Now we write new stories," she said. "One without chains." The freighter jumped to light speed, carrying them toward uncertainty and possibility. Behind them, the desert kept its secrets. Ahead, stars beckoned each, one a potential home for two refugees who had found, against all odds, that freedom was sweeter when shared.